Donald Trump has said for a long time, China's bad. China's eating our lunch economically. They're laughing at us. We have to start buying American. We have to bring back American manufacturing jobs. We have to beat China again because we don't win anymore. And you might remember he talked about this during his inauguration speech, but we have now found out, sit down, while Trump was giving that speech, we've now learned that a 53-ton shipment of clothing was being imported from China by Ivanka Trump for her clothing line. At least 82 shipments of Ivanka Trump's clothing were shipped in from China between Election Day and February 26th. These shipments included blouses, leather wallets, and shoes, all from China. This isn't new. I've told you before that over 1,000 shipments of Trump-branded products have come to the United States from China and Hong Kong. An investigation last July found that not one single item in Trump's clothing line sold at the main Macy's store in New York City was made in the United States, most made in China and Vietnam. During his inauguration speech, Trump railed against American companies for using overseas labor. One of his actual lines on Inauguration Day was, quote, "We will follow two simple rules, buy American and hire American." But remember this cringeworthy, awkward moment on the Dave Letterman show?
I have nothing against China. I just hate that their leaders are so much smarter than our leaders. 2016, we will not be the world leader anymore. We have been always. But in 2016, China becomes the great economic leader.
As a line of clothing. Now, where were these made?
These were made, I don't know where they were made, but they were made someplace. But they're great. It's ties, shirts, cufflinks, everything sold at Macy's, and they're doing great. #1 selling tie anywhere in the world.
#1 selling tie anywhere in the world. You wouldn't wear that shirt?
We also have them in white and beautiful white.
Where are the shirts made? Bangladesh.
Well, it's good.
Okay.
We employ people in Bangladesh.
Ties? Where are the ties
They
made?
have to work
These are
too.
beautiful ties.
They are great ties.
The ties are made in where? China? Ties are made in China.
Right. We talked about the other day how Kellyanne Conway was probably breaking federal law when she used her White House position to promote Ivanka Trump's clothing line. It's particularly perverse when you consider that Kellyanne Conway was promoting Chinese-made clothes in violations of ethics laws. And it worked because sales of Ivanka's products have been seeing a huge spike. Even though Nordstrom dropped the line, her clothes overall have been seeing a huge spike in sales. So China's behind the climate change hoax, and they're also at fault for stealing American jobs by letting American companies have their goods manufactured in China. And companies like the Trump Organization and Ivanka Trump are buying from China. But I guess, Pat, if you ask right-wingers and Trumpists, the real bad guy here, it's Nordstrom, who treated Ivanka unfairly by dropping her clothing line due to lack of demand.
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily hypocritical that she's importing Chinese goods based on the quotes that her father has made.
No, it's Trump who's the hypocrite.
Well, that, and Ivanka has taken a role in the White House, even though she doesn't have an official title because of anti-nepotism laws.
Yeah.
But she's taken part in policy meetings. Her own husband is involved in the administration.
Pathetic.
So I think that's where the hypocrisy comes in.
Now, some Trumpists are defending this and saying, no, it's not hypocrisy. Patrick Ford is wrong. It is not hypocrisy, because a lot of companies do this. And to compete, Donald has to do it and Ivanka has to do it. Trump doing this doesn't mean he can't criticize the system. Blame the game, not the player, blah, blah, blah. But manufacturing your own goods in China is not a rule of the game, and you don't have to do it, especially if you're a loud, outspoken critic of outsourcing manufacturing, which Trump has been for a long time. This is the definition of hypocrisy. And if there's anyone who should lead by example, it's someone who is the president of the U.S. and their family, and someone who has the deep enough pockets to do it, like the billionaire who can afford to manufacture the products wherever it is that he wants. You can advocate changing the system without exploiting the status quo and actually being an acute part of the problem. Ivanka's a part of the problem, and so is Donnie.
I mean, this is nothing new. Trump supporters elected a billionaire who's contributed millions of dollars to political campaigns over the years to break up the system and drain the swamp. And they elected someone who has hired Polish immigrants who worked here illegally and now is the person that is going to be a champion for building a wall and against illegal immigration.
Yes, and unsurprisingly, Donald Trump doing many of the things that he claimed to be against during the campaign and not doing many of the things that he said he would be for during the campaign. At this point, it's more sad than funny.